Every Friday from 3:05 to 4 on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. It's the Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto. Talking local sports every Friday, getting you ready for the weekend and what lies ahead. High school sports, UConn, ECSU, and more. The Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto is brought to you by your local Dunkin' stores. Route 32 South Windham, 1015 Main Street, Willimantic, 1575 West Main Street, and 407 Jackson Street. The Friday Sports Scene. Now, here's Keith C. Rice and Jan Koivisto.
Thank you, Eddie Bishop. No Drake May song this week. Congratulations to Nick Erlinson, Seattle Seahawks. World champions. Second championship for the Seahawks, right?
Yep, 2 out of 3.
So your son must be pretty happy?
Yeah, he was very excited, screaming and all that.
Screaming? Yeah?
Yeah, screaming with excitement. We all had our Seahawk gear on for him. So.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Boy, we're just talking about, of course, Nick Erlinson in for Jan Koivisto. When Jan comes back, you're still going to be part of the show. You know that because it is the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto featuring Nick Erlinson. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I feel very special here.
You're not going anywhere after Jan's back from Plainfield girls basketball. But anyway, back to the Super Bowl. You and I were just talking a few minutes ago. It could have been a better game. Look. I'm not taking anything away from Seattle. I'm not just saying this because the Pats lost. What a terrible football game, though. Really, I mean, until Seattle finally started putting some plays together. I mean, it was a defensive. And we just talked about if it wasn't for Christian Gonzalez, that would have been a 50-7 Seahawks victory. So, would you agree that it was just a very boring Super Bowl?
Yeah, for the most part. Like you said, I think Christian Gonzalez was the only one that anybody really knew even showed up.
No,
in the first
Kenneth
half.
Walker showed up for you guys.
Yeah, and Christian Gonzalez is number 0 on his jersey, and hopefully when it's time, he gets another 0 on his paycheck because he earned that.
He really did, and I tell you, it's Stevenson looked all right there in the beginning. Like it was 9-0 at halftime. Seahawks felt like 24-0. I'll tell you that because Seattle was even outplaying the Pats. I mean, the Pats couldn't get. You could obviously see that something was wrong with Drake May, and we found out a couple days ago that he did get banged up in that Denver game. It was his shoulder. Who knows if he was nervous too? It could be a whole bunch of factors. But as a Patriots fan, if you would have told me that team would be in the Super Bowl back in like September, I would have said you're out of your mind. So it was a heck of a ride. I know people say, they finally played a decent team. No, I don't want to hear that because I think this team will do all right against a stronger schedule. Would you agree?
I think they need those good teams too. I mean, they play in arguably one of the weaker divisions with playing the Jets twice a year, the
Buffalo.
Dolphins twice a year. They usually split with Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as strong as the NFC West, I will say that.
But that's the knock everybody gives them is
Right.
that they're in that weaker division with those teams. So it'll be nice to see with the stronger schedule if where do they finish, and if they finish 13-3 or 14-3 next year.
Right, 14-3, and then they went on to go 17-3, as what Seattle was too. And boy, Seattle. I mean, you got to hand it to Sam Darnold. That guy, he's been through a lot. His days with the Jets, seeing ghosts against the Patriots, and then, he went to Carolina, Minnesota, San Francisco, learned along the way, and then Seattle, right place, right time. What are the Vikings thinking right now, letting him go? Jeez.
I'm sure they're reconsidering because McCarthy hasn't panned out so well.
Yeah, J.J. McCarthy. So this will be the first weekend without football for a while, and the first weekend without baseball. The last weekend without baseball till November. So I'll probably mention that as we get into the Friday Dunkin' Sports Scene rundown, as we usually do on this. What's today? Happy Friday the 13th.
Thank you.
Valentine's weekend. And we'll get into the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene rundown as we usually do. Wyndham High boys basketball team now 4-13 and officially eliminated from state tournament play after dropping one to Wyndham Tech last night, 76-60, in a game that was actually pretty close at halftime until Wyndham Tech pulled away. Whips also lost to Woodstock on Wednesday, 56-47. Wyndham will host Waterford tomorrow. Wyndham High girls lost to East Lyme, 53-35 last night. They fall to 4-13. They'll host Ledyard tonight. Wyndham Tech boys at 15-3. As we told you, they beat Wyndham. Tigers home for Ellis Tech this evening. Wyndham Tech girls are 7-9. They lost to New London 69-14. I repeat, 69-14 back on Wednesday. They're at Ellis Tech tonight. E.O. Smith boys at 11-5 beat Ram back on Wednesday, 51-39. They'll host Manchester this evening. E.O. Smith girls at 6-11 playing at Manchester. Coventry boys 12-6 host Canton tomorrow. Coventry girls have won 13 straight. They're now 17-1. They don't play again until Monday at East Catholic. Lyman boys host Plainfield this evening. Bulldogs are 3-14. Lyman girls, tough season for them as well, 3-12. They visit Turtelot tonight. On to local college hoops. 3 straight wins in conference for the Eastern men as they win in Providence the other day, 80-56 against Rhode Island College. 20 points for Drew Soltis. The Warrior men are 14-8 overall, 6-7 in Little East. Eastern women lost to RIC on Wednesday, 64-56 in Providence. They've dropped 3 straight. Marissa Nutt had 29 to lead Eastern in that game. Both Eastern men and women play up in Vermont tomorrow against VTSU. And speaking of Eastern men's and women's hoops, and maybe we'll get into touch on a little baseball, softball. We'll talk to the man who knows it all up there when it comes to ECSU athletics. That'd be longtime sports information director Bob Molta. Bullet Bob will be on the show again today at 3:15. UConn men and women continue to roll towards March. Hard to believe we're coming down the home stretch. UConn men lost at St. John's last Friday night. A game that, it's probably going to be a preview of the Big East Tournament Championship. Huskies hung in there, but, St. John's was obviously the stronger team in MSG. But UConn bounced back with an 80-70 road win in Indianapolis the other night against Butler. Solo Ball, who just continues to light up Butler, as he did back in December, had 24 the other night. 16 points, 10 assists. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists for TRJ, Terrace Reed Jr. Homecoming game for freshman Braylon Mullins, as he's from Greenfield, Indiana. He had a pretty good game with 15 points with dad sitting front row there, courtside. UConn is now 23-2, 13-1 in the Big East, and they welcome in Georgetown to Gamble tomorrow night at 8. We got it for you at 7:30 on WILATs tomorrow night. Top-ranked and unbeaten UConn women play in Milwaukee against Marquette tomorrow. That's a 1 o'clock tip, 12:30 on WILI. UConn baseball opens up. I said baseball. Haven't said that in a while. Well, actually, I just did. We're talking about this is the last weekend without baseball until, Major League Baseball. UConn baseball opens up in Arizona tonight. They play Nebraska. UConn softball is off to a 0-4 start. They're in Charleston, South Carolina at the Low Country Classic. They played earlier today against Akron. Another game at 5:30 today against Charleston Southern. UConn men's hockey at 16-7-3 plays at Maine tonight. And it's NBA All-Star Weekend in Los Angeles. We used to get excited about this. Nick and I were just talking about this. Just not the same. They've changed the format of the actual game. They have the young star. I think there's like a what's the game tonight? Do you remember? Is it not the freshman sophomore? It's like the second
the Rising Stars.
Thank you. I think that's tonight. And I think if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow night they still do 3-point and slam dunk on Saturday night.
Yeah, I believe they still do all that.
They'd be stupid if they mess with that. So we'll see. That's in Los Angeles this weekend. It's just pretty much an absolute snoozer as far as Sunday night and the game goes. Hockey on Olympic break. There should be some decent Olympic hockey this weekend if you're into that. And as I mentioned, first weekend without football in quite some time. Last weekend without baseball till like November. Friday sports scene runs on Dunkin'. Big thanks to our local Dunkin' stores. Route 32 South Wyndham, 1015 Main Street, Willimantic. A couple other stores in Willimantic at 407 Jackson Street, 1575 West Main Street. Make sure you check out your local Dunkin' stores. Plenty of stores to choose from. I'm just rolling with the medium hot black. The large hot black today. What do you got there?
This is the strawberry, like chocolate strawberry
refresher?
Daydream refresher.
So you're kind of rotating with the refreshers, huh?
Yeah, I like those. I do coffee usually in the morning and mix it up a little bit. So
I did try the refreshers. I told you what I did the mango last. It was very good. So yeah, try those. There's the Berry Moonlight Daydream Refresher. Excuse me, the Cocoa Cloud Latte, caramel chocolate shaken espresso. Don't forget about the $5 meal deal. Our local Dunkin' stores have so much to offer. We thank Caitlin, Jay Drizzy, and Jerry Jose, who runs they're all over in the South Wyndham store. But thank you to all our stores here and locally all our local Dunkin' stores for back in the Friday sports scene here on 14 WILI 95.3 FM. And, of course, please subscribe to WILI on YouTube. You search by going WILI Radio, and you can watch previous episodes of the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene, as well as a lot of other great shows. Again, search WILI Radio on YouTube. Let's bring in our, speaking of thank yous, big thanks to J. Matt Rupar, always behind the board, producing these great shows, not just on the radio. This is a live show, but he tapes all the shows. He uploads them to YouTube for those shows that are on there. And let's bring in J. Matt Rupar right now, because every Friday following the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene, it's Homegrown, which, Matt, give a little background about your show first. Like, what's it about before you get into what's coming up today?
So, basically, hold on, let me turn my mic up a little bit here. Local music, anything local, Connecticut made, I'll play it. Any genre, I can edit swears, anything really. I don't care. Instrumental. I'm going to start playing some poetry soon.
Poetry?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So if you're into music right now and you the mic's okay?
My mic's a little weird.
So if you're into music, you know somebody who has a band or an artist or from Connecticut, Matt, throw out your email.
It's matt.rupar@gmail.com.
That's RUPAR, matt.rupar@gmail.com. What do you got coming up today?
I got some Patty to it. Love
All
Patty.
right.
Let's see, a couple Willimantic locals, Jaron Gaia. He used to work at the co-op, I think.
Nice.
Joss Marie.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with her. She did some stuff for the Chocolate Fest recently. Yeah.
Yep, I just saw her up Cupid's Corner.
Yeah, that's right. That's where it was. And then there's going to be a cover. Remember I did, what was that song? Jolene.
Oh, from was that a Patty to It special? No, that was.
So this is an artist named Lingua Ignata. Okay. So she did a cover of Jolene. So she did another cover of Wicked Game by Chris Isaac.
Oh,
so
wow!
It's pretty good. I
All
like
right.
it.
So you got that's coming up today too.
Coming up today.
All right. So Homegrown follows the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene just after 4, about a 4:05 start every Friday here on 14 WILI 95.3 FM. We're going to get Bullet Bob Molta on the line, talk a little ECSU in just a sec. They're coming down the stretch, so the Little East tournament's about a week and a half or so away. It's hard to believe that we're just a handful of weeks away from Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, do you get into March Madness?
I do. That's probably when I watch most of the college, other than like UConn. But yeah, I was one of those guys like years and years ago picking Gonzaga every year, and people are like, "What are you crazy?"
As a UConn fan, I wouldn't mind seeing Gonzaga finally pull one out. You know, Mark Few has done such a great job with that program, and we got Bullet Bob. All right,
Keith, how we doing?
Hey, Bullet Bob Molta, longtime SID Sports Information Director at Eastern Connecticut State University, back on the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene at WILI. Keith C. Rice, Nick Erlinson. Bob, thank you for coming back on. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Where do we start? I guess it's still basketball season, so let's jump right in because I know we're gearing up for baseball and softball. You know, Eastern baseball is such a great tradition, as well as softball too. And we know as the months roll along here, we're going to be talking Eastern baseball and softball as well. Maybe towards the end of this little phoner here, you could share a little thoughts on that. But let's right off the bat get into Eastern basketball. The men will start there, 14-8 overall, 6-7 Little East. Winners of 3 straight Little East games, coming off a win the other night against RIC. How do the men looking pretty good as we head? I was just telling Nick here, Little East tournament is a little over a week away, right?
Exactly. The first round is in 11 days, a week from Tuesday. Hey, last time we talked, Keith, the men were right. They were not doing well. They went through a streak where they were 2-7.
Yeah.
But like like you mentioned, they won their last 3. So right now, with 3 games left, they are tied for 6th place in the conference, which they take 6 teams for the tournament. So they're right on the bubble right now.
So they're literally on the bubble as we speak here on February 13th. How do you see that? You see that bubble bursting, or how do you feel about these last few games as we head down the stretch with the Eastern men?
Well, I'll tell you, Keith, the rest of the schedule really favors Eastern for the men to get in, because right now they're tied with UMass Dartmouth. They split with UMass Dartmouth this year. And now Eastern, of their last 3 games, 2 of them were against the lowest-ranked teams in the conference, where Dartmouth, their last 3 games are against 2 of the 2 top teams in the conference. So things look good from that standpoint. Eastern just has to, if they can win maybe 2 out of the 3, they should be able to get in.
So, yeah, going to be a lot of scoreboard watching because they got VTSU up in Castleton tomorrow, and then finish out at home with Keene State and Plymouth State. But I guess they, the men need a little help, it looks like, right?
They do. I think the only way they would, if they take care of business themselves, Keith, I think the only way they wouldn't get in is if Dartmouth, seems unlikely, but if Dartmouth runs the table and they finish in a tie, then Dartmouth would get the
tiebreaker.
Yeah, they get the tiebreaker because if they run the table, they will have beaten UMass Dartmouth, the number 1 team in the conference, and that would be the next tiebreaker, how you did against the top team. So unless Dartmouth really pulls it out, I think Eastern's in good shape.
Let's go back to the RIC game the other day in Providence, the 80-56 win. Soltis had 20. I'm seeing only Sanchez, the Wyndham kid, didn't play too many minutes. Everything all right with Julian Sanchez?
No, he's healthy, Keith. Just had a really bad game. I did happen to watch that game on the stream. He struggled the whole game. He couldn't hold on to the ball. He wasn't getting his shots off. But he's been so great for this team this year, so I don't think he's going to have trouble getting back into it the last 3 games of the year.
Yeah, I saw only 12 minutes. I don't know if there was an injury there or just...
No.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? With Coach Geithner, he's going to put you in. Remember we talked last time, he's been our 6th man. Mm-hmm. But with Coach Geithner, he puts you in. If you struggle your first couple of minutes, he's not going to stick too long with you, and he's going to bring you out. And then Drew Saltis and a couple other guys are having great games, so we stuck with those guys.
So, how's anything about what do you know about VTSU? If you don't know that much, we can just move on. But it should be a win tomorrow up in Castleton, I'm assuming, for the Warriors, right?
It could be. We beat them by 35.
There you go.
Here, but you know what, Keith? Last year we beat them by like 10 or 12 mid-season, and then we lost to them at home. So, really, we should win. But anything can happen.
That's right. The Little East is kind of like the Big East. Anything can happen on the road.
My God, it's like any given day you could either win or lose, Keith. It's amazing.
Now, get me up to speed here. How does the Little East? I know you said you got the top 6 get in, or Little East tournament. Where does it take place? Who usually hosts it? Is it bounce around from venue to venue each year? How's that work?
Well, they went away from like a Final Four format a number of years ago. So there's no Final Four format. In each game, the host. The higher seed will host the game.
Oh, I see.
So on Tuesday is the first round games, but the number 1 and 2 seeds get byes. So 3 will host 6 and 4 will host 5, and then they'll move on from there. So you always play at the higher seeded team.
So at one point, though, years back, you said they did have one specific venue. Did one school hosted it? Did they do that in years past? Like, did Eastern ever host it, or has it always been they just played at the higher seeds home gym?
No, they would have a Final Four.
You had a Final Four. Okay.
Yeah, Final Four would be at one site.
Did Eastern ever host the Final Four?
No, I don't think so. Dartmouth was for the men, UMass Dartmouth was very dominant in those years, and I don't think we ever hosted the Final Four.
Oh, I see. It has to be okay. They just didn't pick a specific school to host it, no matter if they were in it or
no.
Not like for example, the UConn women, they're at Mohegan Sun, so there was always one venue you're going to every year, but one school would host it. But I see. It's always the higher seed would determine where they're going to play. Okay.
Yeah, you know why one reason they went away from that, Keith, is because I remember in volleyball a few years ago. UMass Boston was hosting, and they lost their semifinal. And then they were not in the championship game, but it was still being played at UMass Boston,
right.
And the gym was empty.
Yeah, I see why. I could see why they may do that. My team's, my school's on it. Why should I go? That kind of thing. Yeah. So.
It was. Yeah. So that was one. Sense. There was a number of reasons why.
Well, I see that. Okay, let's. How about the Eastern women? I know we had Coach King on a few weeks ago, and she's really enjoying her first year, and she's brought a lot of energy to the program. They're 8-14, but they've shown some bright spots. They probably won't be playing in the Little East tournament this year, right?
They're sort of in the same situation as the men.
Oh, okay. All right.
In a sense, they are 6th right now. They're not tied for 6th, but they're 6th. So anything can happen. You know, they've got the same three teams left that the men do: Castleton, Keene, and Plymouth. Castleton and Plymouth, like the men, they're 8th and 9th in the conference. They're at the bottom, so those could be wins. And then they have Keene State. So I think if they win those 2 out of the 3, they'll be finished 7 and 9, and that should get them in the conference tournament.
That'd be great to see the Eastern women in a little postseason action. Coach King in her first year.
Oh, she's a lot of fun to talk to, isn't she?
Oh, she's a blast. Then she was texting me like, thanking me, you know, it's calling me like a good luck charm, because when we had her on that Friday was when they beat UMass Boston, and I was like, wow, okay, what high praise coming from Coach. I almost felt the need to call her back, say, hey, you want to come on again? You know, why not? But she was great. She was fantastic. I sent her the video link, as I'll do for you after the show. I don't know if I did that the first time. I apologize if I didn't get it to you the first time, but.
Oh, that's right.
We did that
but you know, after they did beat Boston, they have lost their last 3. So they got to get. And they could have beaten Rick. They could have beaten Rhode Island College the other day.
Well, we better get her on next Friday.
Yeah, get her back on. That would be helpful.
Oh, geez, Nick, did you have something?
Yeah. Now the women's team I know is pretty young as far as there's not a lot of the upperclassmen, but it seems like Marissa Nudd seems to be carrying that team. Is there any of the younger, like freshmen, sophomores that are kind of on the brink of stepping up and taking over, as that you can see?
Well, no, you're right, Nick. Marissa's averages 19 points and 7 rebounds. She was second team all-conference last year, and she'll probably make second, maybe first team this year. But I would say the best new player would be Maddie Topa. Mm-hmm. She's from New Hartford. She played at Northwest Regional. She's a freshman. She scored about 2,300 points in high school.
Wow.
She's it was a small school where, Northwest Regional small. So she's adjusting a little bit. She's averaging 11 points, but she's been Rookie of the Week in the conference 3 or 4 times. So I think you're going to hear a lot about her in her 4 years.
I remember, doing some sports scores and seeing Maddie Topa's name. We're definitely hear more about her. Yeah. And Nudd had 29 in the RIC loss. I always forget, Nudd's a junior, right? Is she a junior?
She's a junior. She transferred in, so last year was her first year here. So she has 1 more year after this.
Okay. All right, Bullet Bob Molta with us, a longtime sports information director up the street at Eastern Connecticut State University. We talked a little Eastern men's and women's hoops. We're all on the edge of our seats getting ready we love baseball. We love baseball and softball season, as we do with basketball. I know it's real early, but what kind of info, Mr. Sports Information Director, can you provide with, as far as ECSU baseball and softball as we get towards, UConn just opened up. Eastern's not too far away from starting their season, baseball and softball. What do you got?
Baseball will open up in 2 weeks. They're going to be going down to Maryland, and they're going to be playing a number of games down there against Westfield State and Gettysburg College. But Mike Odenwalder, the coach, said this is the youngest team he's had at Eastern, even though it's only his 4th year. Last year's team lost a ton. They lost 18 total players, and their starting lineup last year was usually like 3/4 seniors. They did win 30 games last year, but they lost in the conference finals and was on the bubble for an NCAA bid and didn't get it. But you guys probably saw that they were still ranked number 1 in the Little East preseason poll, which must talk a lot about the respect that people have, because we lost 8 out of our 10 all-conference players, and we lost 6 out of our 8 pitchers, and they're still ranking Eastern number 1. So
wow.
I know Coach Odenwalder brought in a number of transfers and new players that he thinks are going to help right away.
I can't believe it's his 4th season already. I remember when he just came into town, I was filling in for Wayno, and I had him on as a morning show guest over the phone, and he had just replaced I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. The guy who won the national.
Brian Ham.
Yeah. Right, Brian Ham. And I can't believe it's his 4th season already. Now, I had another thing I can't believe. Eastern, you're telling me Eastern won 30 games last year and they didn't get a bid to the tournament?
No, they thought they might have a chance. The problem, Keith, now it all comes down to numbers, and it comes down to strength of schedule. Yeah. And we didn't have the strength of schedule. We didn't have the quality wins. So total number of wins don't really matter anymore, which is a good thing. It's quality wins. And really, Mike was not. He was hoping we'd get a bid, but he said we weren't really that close of getting it.
It's kind of like Selection Sunday, if you think about it, with the NCAA.
Exactly, yeah.
So, you just mentioned some of the schedule. I'm a little surprised that they're playing. Like, I know they go down south for a while, but I see 3 games in Maryland there, and then Medford, Mass on March 4th, and West Hartford on March 10th. That'll be some cold games. Then they head down to Florida for a while. But ECSU softball. Before we let you go, a few words on the softball team, if you can tell us anything.
Well, softball has 12 letter winners back. They have the bulk of their team back. And again, they were voted number 1 in the Little East preseason poll, unanimous actually. I don't know if you know the girl, Elizabeth Mitchell. She's from Coventry. She was a freshman last year. She was Rookie of the Year and Pitcher of the Year. So she's back. She's brought in two transfers, one from Wheaton College, a pitcher, DH. I think they're going to have a very good season. Last year they won the regular season conference, but went 1-2 in the Little East tournament, and they didn't get a bid, obviously. So I think they're going to have a very good year this year. They have a lot of people back. I've had Coach Pepin on my Hometown Threads show, and she's been around she's definitely a staple, not only around here, but up at Eastern. Well, hey, Keith, quickly, with Diana is that this is going to be our 50th season of softball. Because the first year was 77, and Diana has either been a player, a head coach, or an assistant coach for 30 of the 50 years. That is incredible. Isn't it amazing? Oh, my goodness. Yeah, 25 years as a head coach, 1 year as an assistant, and 4 years as a player. Amazing. She's in the ECSU Athletics Hall of Fame, is she? Well, she can't be yet. Oh, not yet, because she's still, okay. Yeah. Well, she's headed there. She's a lock, I would think. I would say so, too. All right, we got to run, got to take a break. But okay. We haven't had too many people on twice, and Bullet Bob has definitely been on twice, and I know he'll be on again soon, and always providing some great information. Thank you, sir. Keith, good talking to you. Thank you. You got it. There he goes. Bullet Bob Molta. Longtime sports information director up the street at Eastern Connecticut State University. And we're getting ready, hard to believe, we're getting ready to wrap up the ECSU men's and women's basketball season. And we're all excited for ECSU baseball and softball as well. We still have the second half to go. The Duncan Friday Sports Scene here on WILI. On the other side, we're going to talk with the Cuz. We used to do Keith and the Cuz on our sister station, WICH in Norwich, and a few times here on WILI. We'll talk a little UConn men's basketball as they're getting ready to turn the corner for the Big East. And we'll squeeze in a few other things in the final half hour or so. It's Keith and Koivisto with Nick Erlinson here, of course, the coach on his coaching hiatus. Duncan Friday Sports Team returns in just a few here on WILI. And we're back on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on 14 WILI 95.3 FM and the WILI YouTube channel, which you could search WILI Radio and find us up there. You could eventually watch the Duncan Friday Sports Scene along with a lot of other great talk shows here on WILI. J-Matt Rupar mentioned the food call before. We were talking about homegrown. We just heard the commercial. Got to say happy belated birthday to the Willimantic Food Co-op. 36 years. 46? 46, I think it is. Yes, 46. And while we're at it, talking about town stuff, big shout out to the legendary Dick Smith, who was named the 45th Romantic Willimantic Town Cupid today here on Friday the 13th. But we had Wayne over there doing the ceremony live this morning. Wayne, of course, the first ever Cupid, and Dick Smith, and a great man, great family. So congratulations, Dick Smith, on being crowned a Cupid here in Romantic Willimantic. Okay, before we get the Cuz on, we can get him on a few, Matt. We'll talk a couple minutes here. You were at the UConn women's game the other night. Funny little story about. So I hooked up a buddy with tickets to that game that night, UConn and Creighton. He sends me tickets with this picture of the seats. He goes, "Oh, thanks again." I wrote back. I literally text back, "Oh, good, enjoy. Should be another 55-point blowout. I hope you could stay awake," or something like that. I was being sarcastic. So the final was 94-44. I was close. I said, enjoy another 55-point blowout, and they won by 50. Not bad, huh? But you were at that game. Good.
I was at the Butler one on Saturday. So
I'm sorry. I kept thinking you went to the Creighton game Wednesday night.
No.
Oh, you were at the Butler game.
Yeah, Saturday. I went to the Butler one. Went through all the traffic and all the snow
Hartford,
and all that stuff. Yeah, in Hartford.
That's right, because it snowed Saturday a little. Yep.
Yep. And then we left early in the fourth quarter. We left to head home.
Was it because? What was the score at that point? Like it was like 35, 40-point lead or something.
Yeah, it was like a 30-point lead or something. So good. I don't remember, but
so good.
Yeah, I wanted to beat traffic, and then shortly after we got to our car and we're pulling out, everybody's walking out. So I think we timed it pretty good.
Yeah, hey, look, I that's the reason why we're getting our little UConn women chat in here, because when we talk to the cousin, just a few, it's going to be UConn men, Big East. Now, yeah, you can get them on the line, Matt. Thank you. My cousin Andy Bock is a freelance TV sports producer for FS1, Fox, ESPN. He worked for ESPN back in the day, and lately he's been down in Miami doing the Unrivaled thing, which you're kind of a fan of, right?
Yeah, I enjoy watching the Unrivaled. It's
Can you explain a little about Unrivaled? Like what for people who are not familiar with it?
basically professional 3-on-3 basketball.
Women's basketball.
Women's basketball, yes.
But you got Paige Beckers as part of it.
Yep.
Not like who's the other one there? The Caitlin Clark's not part of it, right?
No, she's not part of it. But the Breeze is the name of Paige's team, and but her and Cameron Brink's on that team. Kate Martin, Rakia Jackson. So there's some decent players on that team.
This is great because we have the cuz. All right. Now let's bring in the cuz, Andy Bock. It's been a while. Hello, son.
It has. Hello, son. Good to hear your voice again.
Good to hear your voice. Enjoying the 75 degrees and the sun down there in Miami, or what? Are you in Miami right now?
I am in Miami. Let's be accurate. It's 78 today. It's been a lovely couple of months here. I got down here late December, and I don't come home until March, so it's been good.
Oh, geez, yeah, right around birthday time. Well, thanks for jumping on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene. You were probably on the inaugural show. I think, you were probably on the kickoff show back a few months ago, and we haven't got a Bach lock in a while. I think after football season, this is our first weekend without football, so we're taking a break for the doing the betting thing at the end of the show, but maybe we'll bring that back eventually, especially when we get closer to March Madness. This is the Duncan Friday Sports Team with Keith and Koivisto. The Chronicles' Jan Koivisto was off for a few months on his coaching duties, so we have Nick Erlinson in here, and son, I'm sorry, I got to tell Nick, Andy and I call each other son, so just don't be thrown off by that.
Okay.
Nick Erlinson is here, and so I'm going to say Andy, just call him, or the cuz. Nick is a big fan of Unrivaled. So
how about that?
I know. So why don't you guys talk a little about Unrivaled? Nick was just explaining a little bit to people who are unfamiliar with it. So why don't you follow up, Andy? Give us a little where you're at with Unrivaled right now, because I think I saw that the semifinals are coming to Brooklyn. Or just first of all, explain what Unrivaled is, as Nick was doing before.
Yeah, sounds good. So I got involved in this project. I got hired in September, and really it's basically the best female basketball players in the world. We have most of the best of the WNBA down here, including Paige Beckers is probably the top star this year. Brianna Stewart's here. Aaliyah Edwards. There's a lot of UConn players. But, really just a bunch of elite WNBA players down here. And it's basically a 14-week season. It's not real long. There's 8 teams. It's 3-on-3 basketball. All of our games air on the Turner Networks, True TV and TNT. And we're based down here in Miami. We did one road show up in Philly. It was fantastic success. We played at the Xfinity Center for a night, sold the place out. 22,000 people came. And now we're down here in Miami. It's one-on-one week, so they take a 1 week out of the season. They do a little one-on-one tournament. The players love it. And then we get back to the couple of weeks of the regular season coming up in February. And then, as you said, we just announced today that the semifinals will take place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Hopefully, Brianna Stewart and the Mist play there, because the crowd should be bonkers if she makes it that far. And then we come back here for the championship, crown a champion on March 4th.
That's pretty interesting. The semis in Brooklyn, I can see why they're doing it, as you just explained. Then back to Miami for the finals. Now, Nick, you've been following this pretty closely too?
Not as much in the past week or two, but when it first started, I was watching it a lot more. I'd been a little busier, but yeah, I've been keeping up a little.
What's drew you to it? Like Paige Beckers? Or?
A little bit. I just like basketball. I mean, that's probably my favorite sport to watch, because it's always exciting and stuff. And over the past few years, I've become more into women's basketball. I found it easier to expose my son to the game of basketball through the women's basketball, because it's more fundamental. There's a lot more defense and passing and stuff, and so I enjoy that. But it's fun to see the women be competitive on the big stage like that.
Yeah, you don't see 3-on-3 men or women. You don't see 3-on-3. It's kind of a different thing. So I could see where the appeal may be. Now it's in its second year, right, Andy?
Yeah, year 2, and they have a 6-year deal with the Turner, so this league's not going anywhere. They're growing. They may be adding players and teams as we go forward here. They may take a lot more shows on the road, so they're going to try to hit different parts of the country. But, 3-on-3, as Nick said, it's a unique form of basketball. Nobody else plays it. It's really fun. I encourage you guys all just to check it out. We're generally on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday nights, again, on the Turner Network. So give it a look-see, especially as we come down the stretch here and get ready for the playoffs.
That was my next question. So, again, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, or Friday, Saturday?
Monday, yep.
Friday through
Friday,
Monday.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Friday through Monday on TNT. And, this part of the, let's just face it, Eastern Connecticut loves its men and women's basketball. This is the basketball capital of the world. So, so it is. You could feel it growing, huh? The unrivaled thing?
Oh, yeah, they're not going anywhere. It's a league that's owned by the players. That's what kind of makes it very unique. They have a full buy-in on this. Brianna Stewart and Afisa Collier, 2 UConn alums, started the league.
Oh, they started it. They started it.
Yeah, they started it. Yep. They were the whole point of the league was to not have the players have to go to places like China and Russia and other crazy parts of the world. They can stay home, stay in one spot, make really good money. The crazy thing is here's a little nugget for you. Paige Beckers, as a rookie in the WNBA last year, got paid a salary of $75,000. Here at Unrivaled for playing basketball for 2 months, she's going to make $350,000. Plus, she won the free throw shooting contest for another $50,000.
Wow!
So $400K for Paige for 2 months. So that's why the players want to come here. It's real.
Oh my God! Okay, now let me ask you this: Will you ever see Caitlin Clark? Will we ever see Caitlin Clark?
We call her the white whale. She has an open invite to come down here. I tell you, if we got her, it'd be a whole new ball game. We'd need a bigger arena. We'd need more road shows. But she's been a little hesitant, at least as of now, to play in the 3-on-3 format. And, of course, Caitlin doesn't really need the money. She makes tens of millions of dollars through sponsors. So she picks her spots, but she has an open invite to join Unrivaled. We hope she plays next year.
I'm really surprised up here, and I could be wrong in this, that you don't hear more talk in these parts about Unrivaled. Nick, do you hear people talking about it up here?
Not really, no. I don't think...
I really thought there'd be more, buzz about it, at least in Eastern Connecticut or up in Yukon country where we're at right now, but...
You know what? Here's the deal is, they really have an incredible grassroots social media marketing presence. I kid all the time when I talk to my buddies. There's like 5 or 6 of us that work in the television broadcasting department, and there's like 50 people that work in the social media department. They're everywhere. They follow the teams, and they're on every social media platform.
Yeah, they pop up on mine. You're right. They pop up on my Insta and my Facebook. You're absolutely right. And before we get into UConn men, give a little background on what you've done in the past. I know you're a freelancer still for Fox, FS1, ESPN, correct? And how did you get asked to do this Unrivaled project?
Yeah, interesting. The connection really came from the WNBA and my work over the last 4 years of working for the Connecticut Sun. So they wanted to make a change with some production people after year one. They made a lot of changes with the format and things. So I landed an interview, went through a couple of rounds of interviews, and ended up getting hired in September. And it's been fantastic. I've basically moved down here to Miami in late December. I got an apartment. They shipped my car down here.
Must be nice.
And I've only left. I've only left just to go up to Philly and back. So yeah, it's been nice to miss maybe the worst winter in New England.
I know. And all winters he gets where's the wife? Has she come down at all? Has she come down?
Oh, Amy's down here. She's loving it.
Oh, good. At least Amy's down there. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. Buzz over to Marco next time. See Uncle.
100%, yeah.
All right. Well, time's short, so let's get to UConn. Yep. UConn men. We just touched on the UConn women before we got done because Nick was at the UConn Butler game, which he bailed in the fourth quarter, which a lot of people do this year. And jokingly, Andy, I got to tell you this quick story. So I hooked up a buddy with UConn women's tickets against Creighton the other night. I said, "Oh," he texted me the seats. Thank you very much. I said, "You're very welcome. Enjoy another 55-point blowout." You know what the final was? 94-44. They won by 50. I was close. So anyway,
I'll tell you what, they're really good, but it is hard to watch the whole game.
Very good. Yeah. So if they stay healthy, nobody is coming within 10 points, even in the tournament. That's what they're going to run the table if they stay healthy. All right, UConn men still pretty dominant. They bounced back from the St. John's. I think a lot of people felt that UConn was bound to lose, and it's actually not. You said this in the text thread. It wasn't a bad loss. We kind of expected it. Patino has the Johnnies playing much better. Madison Square Garden, stakes a little higher. We're turning the corner towards March. UConn kept it reasonable. It was close back and forth, but St. John's I would expect it about 8, 9, 10-point win. Nothing. We want to talk a little about that game before we talk about the bounce back against Butler.
Yeah, I was on the air during that game, but I definitely read all the recaps, saw the highlights and stuff. I mean, listen, St. John's, they've won 10 in a row, right? Is that correct?
Yep.
They won 10 games in a row. They're really peaking right now. But listen, and I said it to you guys, you can't go through the season undefeated in today's day and age. It's just too hard. The rosters are too even. There's too many good teams. When you look at UConn's resume right now, 23-2, they lost at home to the number one team in the country, and they were down 2 starters in that game. And then they go on the road and lose to a red-hot St. John's team. Those are the only 2 blemishes right now. So my favorite thing about this team this year is that the 5 starters are all averaging double figures. So you can't lock in on 1 or 2 players on this UConn team because the other 3 guys will kill you. It's a very balanced team. Any guy can have a big night on any given night. And we all love the way Danny coaches these guys and gets them to buy in. The practices are hard, and it makes the games easier. So that's kind of my take so far on UConn. And they got 6 games left, right, before the Big East tournament. They'll be favored in all of them. Yeah. Yes, St. John's is another one, but that one will be at home. And then they go to Philly and play a decent Villanova team. They'll be favored in all. Maybe they go 5-1. 28-3 heading into the Big East tournament. I like their chances.
Yeah, 4 of the next 5 are home here in Connecticut, including Georgetown tomorrow night at Gamble. That's a 8 o'clock game, 7:30 on WILI. And that should, I hate to say it, come on, Georgetown. I mean, I know Georgetown played any road game in the Big East. Georgetown played them tough last month down in D.C. But let's face it, it's, UConn has their foot on the gas at this point as we head towards March. Terrace Reed Jr. has been playing out of his mind. Solo Ball, who just pretty much lights up Butler, bounced back. He's had some wrist injuries from that Butler game in December. He had 24 the other night. Butler kind of gave him a hard time. It was 64-62 at one point, but we all knew it was just, the Huskies would eventually take care of business, which they did. What do you think going into Georgetown tomorrow night?
Yeah, you said it. Georgetown, they're not going to provide any resistance. And I think just going back to one other thing I really like about this team, besides the balance with the scoring, is, and I'm even going back maybe 3 or 4 years here, can you guys remember another team in college basketball that adjusts and plays better in the second half than the Huskies under Hurley? It seems like they play a whole bunch of close first halves, and maybe it's because of turnovers or other things, but they tend to blow people out in the second half, and that happened even in the 2 tournament runs. They had much better second halves than they did first. So the fact that they can hang around in the first half, maybe not play their best basketball, and then generally be blowing people out in the second half is really impressive. It was fun to see Mullins back in his home state the other night. I think he had a couple of boos from the Indiana Hoosier fans, but in general, got a nice reception for the Gatorade Player of the Year in Indiana.
Yeah, I saw his dad sitting courtside. Mom was up high, so I don't know why Mom wasn't joining him courtside, but it really was a nice moment. I watched a lot of that game, and another thing about Hurley too, you gotta give him credit because the game before St. John's, I want to say, was Xavier. You're thinking to yourself, "Ooh, could this be a game where they're looking ahead?" But no, Danny had them. They won that game by 20 or 30 or something like that. Yeah. So that's good to see. These are all positive signs. I think I'm trying to find any kind of negative. Here we are in the middle of February. I think one small thing is, Demery turned the ball over 9 times against St. John's the other night. Yeah. I mean, that's going to happen. Can you find any small thing to pick at this point?
You mentioned that's the only thing I can find. Generally, like I said, it seems to happen a lot in the first half. I don't know what it is about just getting started, but yeah, the turnover is the only thing that might snake bite this team. And listen, they do live and die a lot with Ball and Mullins from the 3. And in a one-game situation where you're at the Big East tournament or the NCAA tournament, if the threes aren't falling, that can really put you in a tight moment and make you have to buckle down and win another way. So, but between Ball and Mullins, hard to envision both of those guys having a rough night from 3. If one guy is off, the other guy's going to get more looks. And I tell you, when those 2 guys get going, I mean, they're really, really hard to beat because when they're knocking threes down, it really opens up the floor for Reed, like you said, and he just goes off in the paint, and the balance is incredible. So I don't really see any flaws in this team, but as you know, anything can happen in a one-game situation. You have to have your best night every night.
The cuz Andy Bock joining us from beautiful Miami right now as he gets ready for another. Who's the unrivaled matchup tonight? It's Friday night. Who is it?
Actually, tonight we're paused for the one-on-one tournament, so we actually have 12 one-on-one matchups. Paige Beckers is going to play tonight, so it's a really it's another fun, unique style of basketball. I don't think any other league stops down and does one-on-one tournaments, and there's big prize money at stake here too. The winner of this tournament gets $200,000 for winning the one-on-one tournament.
Nick
so
is just showing
3 nights.
Nick is just showing me the schedule right now, and because the NBA All-Star Weekend is such a snoozer, I may have to tune in for this because you said Paige Beckers, and that's TNT at what time tonight?
That's right. Tonight, TNT 7:30, and then tomorrow, TNT 6 o'clock will be the semifinals and the championship. So next 2 nights on TNT will be a lot of fun.
Very good. Now, before we let you go, just a couple other things with the UConn men. I don't want to do a lazy take here about, as far as, I follow the Big East. We all follow the Big East, but it's tough to follow. It's UConn, St. John's, and everyone else. Is there any team that you could see in the next, when we get to the Big East tournament, maybe a Villanova that could, I don't know. Is there another team that could surprise when we get to Madison Square Garden in March?
The answer is no. You just said it. Villanova is the only one that has a sniff at this. I mean, unless UConn and St. John's are not playing their best, and I don't see that on that floor. They both play really well in that tournament and on that floor. That's going to be the title game. They're going to be the top 2 seeds. It's really sad to kind of see Creighton and Marquette down this year. I mean, the past 3 or 4 years, McDermott and Shaka Smart have always had really, really good clubs, and they've made it to the Big East title game and won that tournament. So it's tough to see them down, but the transfer portal and NIL is kind of wreaking havoc on some rosters, especially Shaka, who doesn't do the transfer portal and NIL. He's been really resistant. He likes to recruit his freshmen and develop them, but boy, Marquette is really down this year, and it's tough to see. There's only going to be 3 teams that have any shot at making the NCAA this year, and Villanova's that 3rd team.
Yeah, it's really kind of a down year for the Big East. As much as we're looking forward to UConn, St. John's, and MSG in March, and let's not get ahead of ourselves. Do you see St. John's, by the way, coming here February 25th and maybe sweeping the Huskies? I mean, anything could happen, but or do you think the Huskies get revenge in that game?
Yeah, I don't see it happening. I mean, they got us on MSG. They can have that, but I mean, it'll be 10, 11, 12 game win streak at that point coming into a buzz house. And is that game in Stores?
I was just about to ask you. I can't remember. Nick, can you check on it? I'm not sure if that's Hartford or Stores. I was just
either way, the arena's going to be jacked, and Hurley's going to have those guys frothing at the mouth. So no, I don't see St. John's winning that game. Again, the UConn's not going to be. They're not going to be an underdog in any of these remaining 6. They may get tripped up, but I doubt it. I think they win all 6, head into the Big East tournament on a sizzling streak, and they'll probably be the 1 seed, and they'll play that noon game on Thursday where they play the 8-9 winner as the 1 seed.
Unbelievable. So Nick just checks that. That is, he just checked it out. XL Center on February 25th. So St. John's, UConn, and Hartford on February 25th. So, yeah, I mean, it's you got another thing. You mentioned the outside game with Mullins and Ball. We got to see Caravan get on kind of a roll. That'd be nice, right?
Yeah, I just feel like it's been a 2-year slump for him.
Yeah, I know.
He kind of peaked. He peaked in that first title team, and I think he thought he was going to be a lottery pick, and I don't know if he got out in front of himself and just the work ethic, whatever, but he hasn't been great. But, hey, to have Caravan as your 3rd or 4th option on the team, that's what makes him really dangerous in March, because at any point he can go off for 25, 26 points and hit 5 or 6 threes. We know that can happen.
Yeah, Hurley's done a great job with this team. All right, son, thank you so much. Enjoy Miami. Tell Amy we said hello. And when are you officially back up here?
Yep, I'll be back up March 4th, just in time for Champ Week. I'm going to do a couple of games on ESPN Champ Week, and then we'll get ready for March Madness.
Hopefully we can schedule another nor'easter for your arrival back in Connecticut on March 4th.
I'll pass on that. Hey, 32 days to Selection Sunday, guys. 32 days. I can't wait. It's the best day of the year. And one more shout-out, Pete Alonso. Welcome to Camden Yards.
I know. Hey, the AL East is going to be fun this year. It really is.
That's right.
Unless you're a Tampa Bay Rays fan. But, all right, son, thanks a lot.
You bet. Take it easy, guys.
There he goes, the cuz, Andy Bock, from longtime freelance TV producer for Fox, FS1, ESPN, and currently with TNT doing Unrivaled. And we got a few minutes to go here, but yeah, maybe I will check out Unrivaled tonight. I know I'm doing dinner at Fenton, but when we want to get back, I'll have to tune in because I definitely not about the NBA All-Star Friday night, maybe tomorrow night. But are you going to check that out tonight or what?
Yeah, probably. I don't think I have anything else going on, so I'll probably watch that. I don't think you have
anything else going on. Now, Becker's is 7:30, right?
Yeah, the one-on-one tournament, I believe, is set that they're 15-minute games.
Oh, so, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure where she's slated to go. I think she was like 5th or 6th game on the list, but I don't know if it's in order. But
interesting. And I think I was trying to scan that schedule. Is Brianna Stewart playing tonight too?
I think
I may have to get into this now as we come down the stretch with this. I mean, little bridge as we have spring training baseball. Pitchers and catchers are reporting. College hoops is really starting to heat up now. I may have to check out this Unrivaled. Again, TNT tonight.
Yeah, Brianna Stewart against Aaliyah Boston.
Really? That's a good one. What time's that?
That's all at 7:30.
That's all 7. So
Yeah.
wait, there's
so you got there's like Kelsey Plum and Natisha Heidman. I don't know.
So what? Again, these all start at 7:30. What are they going over to different? They're not on the same court, obviously.
They're probably half, and then they switch to the other half, and then the other half. That's how I would imagine they do it.
No, that's true. Yeah, I tuned in briefly. This is like, I don't know, a month and a half ago, because my cousin said, "Hey, you got to check it out." I literally sat at my kitchen table on Friday night, and look, great athletes, but I gave it a total of maybe 5-10 minutes, and I sat there going, nah, not for me. And I think I went back to a documentary. But I'm going to check it out tonight. Paige Becker, 7:30. Unrivaled starting to heat up on TNT. So if you're a sports fan, a fan of women's basketball, like the UConn women or whatever, check this out. It's starting to gain some steam. Were you going to say something else about it?
I was going to say, it looks like it's also on HBO Max if you have that. So maybe
Okay.
maybe
I have
there's
HBO
DVR
Max.
or anything.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right. You know what? Because when the UConn game's on TNT, I just pull up the HBO Max. I did that for the UConn Butler game the other night. So, all right, in our final minute here, again, Nick, thank you very much. Big thanks to Bullet Bob Molta, the cuz Andy Bock, J. Matt Rupar, who's standing by. He's got homegrown coming up. First weekend without football. Last weekend without baseball till November, as we we're on. It's kind of like a bridge here to get us to the next season. March Madness right around the corner. And enjoy the Olympics if you're going to watch that. There's going to be decent hockey on as well. Big thanks to our Dunkin' stores. Make sure you search WILI Radio on YouTube. You could watch this show eventually. The Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene here for you every Friday from 3:05 to 4 with Keith and Koivisto and featuring Nick Erlinson. All right, that'll do it. Enjoy your weekend, folks.